Alright, we're going to be watching Negative, who is playing mostly Moira, just about Piece of the First Life. Moira on Dorado. This is Gold 5. I'm going to try a quick format this time, instead of doing my full-length review, which is like 30 to 60 minutes. This is hopefully going to be, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so, what do they say? I genuinely do not understand what I could have done better this game. I understand I mess up in areas, but at gold, I feel like I performed pretty well, yet we still got stomped. This kind of matchmaking is the reason I'm slowly ranking down, because this happens almost every game nowadays. So, there is an underlying feel that you're blaming the matchmaker, but I'm going to demonstrate how this is 100% you. I mean, do your teammates also have culpability? Of course, they could also have played better, but your teammates are going to be different, but you're in every single one of your games, so you might as well worry about what you can control. So, let's start. Right here, you see the Hanzo? Okay, great. Is it your job to deal with this Hanzo? It is not. At this point, your job is to rotate back, right, and hold main. Instead, what do you decide to do? You decide to challenge the Hanzo despite being in one body shot range. He doesn't even need to hit a headshot here, right? 125 is body shot. You challenge, you die. He doesn't even hit a headshot. This is 100% your fault. There's no way you could possibly blame your team for you dying here. You know, like, very clearly you decide to take a challenge. This is a bad challenge, right? Same thing if it was a Widow, a Hanzo, whatever. Why would you take this challenge? It's not your job. Don't do that, right? It's not like the Hanzo was like, it's not like your team is fighting down here and the Hanzo's going to kill them. Like, the Hanzo's way in the back. All you have to do is rotate, play main. As soon as you die, your team has no main healer, fight's over, right? You've lost the first point because of that death. That one death cost you. All right, next up, we're going to look at 152. So starting from right here, this fade. Watch this fade, okay? We're here, we're healing. Like, it's fine. You're like an okay position, right? You're healing your team. Then you decide, hey, cool. I see enemies. Let me fade into them. Is that your team's fault? Like, let's just look at this from the aerial view, okay? You're over here. You're healing. This is fine, right? We're fine. We're fine, okay? If you felt like you were under pressure, you could have walked in behind cover. You could have faded to cover here. For example, your Reese's not in danger of dying anytime soon. What do? You fade in. The other team's like, wait, why is the Moira here? You get stuck, and then you die. And because of that, your team loses this fight. If anybody dies, almost always it leads to a lost fight. Like 70-80% of the time, lost fight. Especially main support or tank, almost always leads to a lost fight. So you completely doom your team from the moment that you did that. That's 100% you. I cannot possibly imagine how you could say that's anyone else's fault but your own. All right, let's look at 215. So you're coming back to the fight, right? I think your team actually managed to pull off this defense, which is pretty good. This is a bad orb. Okay, we'll watch the angle of this. So you see that it kind of goes off in a crazy angle. Like, it's a reasonable attempt, right? I think all things considered, it's a reasonable attempt, but the orb doesn't actually do anything. Why does this matter? Because now that you come to the fight, so what I would have done instead of going for that crazy orb is I would have turned the corner right now. And then I would have tossed an orb straight down in a line like this, which would have gotten my Orisa. Because your orb doesn't heal your Orisa, you see your Orisa's low, which makes you nervous. What does that mean? Right? You start healing the Ashe, which is good. Then you're like, oh shoot, the Orisa's still low. I fade over here, which is not a good idea, because generally fading to get to teammates means that you're out of position to begin with, which is true because you were dead and you were respawning. Also, you could have just walked up further and healed. Like, she's not in that much danger anymore, but that's fine. Well, sort of. Then Hanzo peeks you on your right. You can see the Hanzo right there on your screen. He shoots you once. This should have triggered your fade. At this moment in time, you're one body shotable, so all you do is fade, right? Get here, right? Even potentially, if you're good, get all the way around back here. All these options would have saved you alive, but you don't have fade. Why? Because you wasted it, which means right now you get killed. Also, you jump, which makes the shot easier. Is that your team's fault? No, right? Also, clearly, I would say, from my perspective, clearly your fault. All right, we're going to look at 309. So, over here, you're clearly way overextended. You really die right there. Okay? This fade was bad. When you faded here, you should have faded behind your tank. Because generally speaking, Moira's job is to pocket the tank. If it's you and a Zen, your job is to keep the tank alive. Can you heal the tank from the right? No. You can only heal the tank from the left because you're short ranged. If you were here healing your tank would have more health. If your tank has more health, what does that mean? They would step forward and contest. But because they're over here and low, right? You see you're kind of late to the party in terms of healing, right? Now your tank is lower than she wants to be, which means that she doesn't want to contest this point. And this is actually a really good contest. You should have popped Coalescence earlier, like right around here, popped Coalescence, and I guarantee the Orisa would just walk forward and contested the point. Because you don't, and you pop it too late, right? The Orisa feels kind of low, she steps back. Again, it's her fault. She definitely could have still stepped on this point, but because you don't make the margin of error larger for the Orisa, she makes this mistake. I guarantee you, if the Orisa was full health, she would have walked onto the point sooner and just stayed there, right? Even with High Noon, she would have stayed there, which would have been the correct call. And now this Coalescence does not get you too much value. All right, 318. Oh yeah, I mean, I would say in general, I don't think that Coalescence was made much sense, but I understand why you ended up popping it, right? I do think your Orisa made a clear mistake to not contest the card there, but you should have faded on left side to make her job easier and make the mental calculation for her easier. That way, that she didn't have to be such a tight situation for her. Okay, over here, let's watch. This Lucio's gonna get super, super low. Okay, this is an easy kill. Do you see how little of this you track? That's 35% maybe on a Lucio who's got less than 25 health right now. He's got 19 health. If you just track just a little bit better, this Lucio would die. You do kill him anyway with this damage orb, but I'm not walking through your whole game. I just want to highlight that you still have a lot of trouble tracking, right? This is not what I would consider like platinum level tracking or even high gold level tracking. This was a very easy kill on this Lucio and you failed to convert it off of your tracking alone. Okay, 354. So right here, you're going to, right here, you see the Hanzo is low. Okay, that's fair. You should heal him. You see the Harmony on him, which means he's healing like 30, 35 health a second or whatever it is, okay? Just tap him right now. That's already going to heal approximately 90 health, and then go right back to your Orisa. Because the Hanzo's not going to die here. He's like way in the back. If he dies, like there's not much you can do about it. He actually does end up dying to like a random something or other. But you should be up front playing with your Orisa. You're too far back to react to damage, which means as she starts getting melted, you fade forward because it's compensating for your being out of position. The consistent theme is that you cannot stay in the right spot with your regular movement. You are always forced to use fade to just get to the spot you should have been to begin with. You should have healed this Hanzo while running forwards to go stay with your Orisa. Now, to be fair, your Orisa's also making a mistake here. She's 100% out of position, overextended. But you could have saved her here with healing plus orb. And remember, you used your orb back here in a second, right? So we're going to watch. You're going to see the Hanzo's low in a second. Right? You see that orb? Unnecessary. You should not have thrown that orb. Because right now, if you throw orb and heal, I guarantee you your Orisa does not die here. Right? Orb plus your spray heals something like 150 health a second. It's like absolutely crazy. There's no way your Orisa dies here if you have orb. So this is also your bad. And 426, this is probably my favorite one. So 426, we're just here, we're just hanging out, right? Resetting. You know, your tank's dead, you're waiting for your tank to come back, and you fade and you jump and you land on top. Okay, you landed on top. So you had a moment where you could have decided to come back, and then you kept going over the side. And then you die. This is a throw. This is straight throwing. I cannot imagine if I was on your team, right, just hanging out here, like, okay, cool, like, we're just resetting, and I just saw you jump over the edge. I would look, like, you see the Zed? The Zed is like, what are you doing? Right? The Zed just like, what the heck is this plan? This is actually crazy that you jumped over the top like this to just die instantly. That was like the worst of the deaths, and I only watched the first 5 minutes of this game. I'm sure there are plenty more of like truly head scratching. Like I cannot imagine what you were thinking of deaths to have occurred. Okay, so let's watch the last minute-ish of the game. 30 seconds, right? Last fight of the game. Now, to be clear, the biggest problem here is that you've made so many mistakes that you don't have enough time to try to take this, right? You have to be basically be perfect from here on out because you don't have enough time. If you played better, they would have less time, or you would have more time, or a combination of both. But starting from here, you see your Ashe is going to get low. She heats that Fire Strike, so she has only 50 health right now. Do you heal her? No. Instead, you're leeching thin air. There's nothing here. Now you're healing nothing. Now you're doing nothing. Now you throw a heal orb, finally, right? But you know what happens? See your Ashe over here? At no moment in time do you heal your teammate, an absolutely critical teammate that you need to win this fight, who's hanging out here being like, why is my Moira not healing me? Like, you saw her. It's not like she was behind you the whole time or dropped from high ground. She was in front of you when she got hit by the Fire Strike. I don't understand why you wouldn't heal her. Like, you're still not healing her. Okay? Then Moira comes and just kills her. Like, this is the easiest death that you could have prevented in this whole game. Right? Like, you must have seen, at this point, you see the Moira turn the corner. She's clearly leeching somebody. You can hear the sound effect, Okay? You should have seen, look, be like, why is Moira trying to aggress like this? Either she's made a horrible mistake or somebody on my team is about to die here. Like, the object permanence in your head of, like, recognizing where your teammates are, like, it's just not there. Like, when the Ashe disappeared from the front of your screen, it is as though you thought she just, like, disappeared into the ether. Like, you need to be aware of, like, oh, my teammate was injured, I haven't seen them dead on the kill feed, they must still be injured near me, and try to heal them. So Moira dies here, great. So, now notice, this Hanzo is low. Are you planning on healing him? Nope. Right? Again, same problem, right? The Hanzo drops, he's got 75 health right now, okay? He's still low. He's low. He's low. At no moment in time did you heal him, despite the fact that it would have been so easy to do so. Instead, you decide to fade, right? Again, he's on your screen. Like, it's not like he's behind you where I can understand. He's literally in the middle of your screen right now. You decide, I don't want to heal this Hanzo, and you come over here. Your Orisa still got 2/3 health. It's not like you urgently need to get here to save your tank, you know? For the record, your Hanzo is still super low behind you, right? And then he's going to die here, okay, to their Hanzo, one-shotted, because he doesn't have any health. And if that wasn't bad, okay, now watch what happens next. So you faded forward, okay, again, you didn't need to fade forward, you could just walk forward. You walk up, you eat the Fire Strike, you're playing at point blank with Rein for no reason. You could be standing right here, healing your Orisa, and the Rein would have to chase you off cart to kill you. Instead, you fade and walk into the Rein. See, here even would have been okay. But watch. You're going to keep walking into the cart for no reason. Your Orisa's on cart. You don't need to stand on cart. Okay? You eat the Fire Strike, you should see the Rein and be backing up. Instead, you're walking forwards. You see how you're walking forwards right now? Now you finally start walking backwards, and that's going to force your fade. Right? Actually, he misses here, which is extremely lucky that you don't die here. So, from here, you still have the opportunity to make a big play. I would not expect you to make this play. This is like, what I'm about to describe is probably a Masters-ish level play. So to be clear, this is the only play I do not expect you to have recognized. But I think the correct play here is to realize that there is no way my Orisa can win against Rein plus Cassidy plus Hanzo on different sides. So one of these people must die here, and I have to help. And you would have heard the Baptiste grenade, which actually healed you. That's one of the reasons why you didn't die here, is because you're going to get healed by the Baptiste grenade in the middle of this. So that grenade, I think, hits you, right, which gives you health. So you would have heard the Baptiste grenade, so you know your Baptiste is nearby, and recognize that your Baptiste can now help pocket your tank. So then you should have faded, right, behind the Hanzo over here to make sure you don't get caught by High Noon, and started damaging him to try to get the kill with the Baptiste, or solo, right? As soon as you have Damage Orb, you could do that too. But instead, you do this weird fade where you kind of end up in the middle, which is incredibly dangerous. The Cassidy should have just killed you right here. I have no idea why he doesn't fire, but get around the corner, you still see the Hanzo here. Now you come forward. I understand you walking up to try to heal the Orisa, but again, this Hanzo really needs to die. And because both you and the Baptiste are obsessed with healing your Orisa, the Hanzo's totally free to attack. He's going to kill your Baptiste here. Right? Again, if you had just gone to him, throw Damage Orb, and killed him, that would have made a huge difference. They'd be down one Hanzo, and you'd be up one Baptiste, which virtually guarantees that you would win this fight. Now, to be clear, this last play, only this last play, would I not have expected you to do at your level. Right? I think that is way too many things for you to process at Gold 5. But everything else I listed, including like the ridiculous stuff, like just jumping over the wall here, you can't blame the matchmaker for this. You know, like what are you thinking? This is crazy. You're never going to climb out of gold or climb even through, like up into higher gold doing stuff like this, you know? And again, remember, that's not a one-off. You did the exact same thing at 152. You know? When you're like, oh, cool, I'm over here, I'm perfectly fine, I'm in a reasonable position, let me just fade into the enemy team and die. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. I think there's obviously lots of stuff that you can improve overall as your Moira play, but I don't have time to do the full review, so this is the short version.